Hello, my name is Fraser Simons. This is my channel, Springboard Thought. Today I'm going to do a Booker 22 long-listed book review, novel review of The Colony by Audrey Magee. Before I forget, the audiobook of this is, I think, quite exceptional, and it is narrated by Stephen Hogan. I recommend actually consuming both at the same time, which is something I never really recommend. But the dialogue and the structure formatting of the paragraphs change quite a bit when the narrator is in different people's heads. And it's really interesting basically to see the interplay between the audiobook and the actual structure that is happening in it. Both are really exceptional. I think it augments the experience. For me, it was a 5-star book. This is a really subtle, quiet, not much of a plot happening type of book. So those could be warning sirens or hot buttons for you, depending on the reader. This book is about an artist who is English, quintessentially so, and a French academic linguist, both going to the same colony, a small island off the coast, where it is still, again, quintessentially Irish. There's a small group of people, I think 100 people in a small town, but we deal with one family in particular where the British man is staying. His name is Lloyd, a French person's name is Masson, and basically what ends up happening is in their construction as ideologues, meaning that the British person is looking to enact a Western colonizer type of view onto the island from the very get-go. He is trying to capture its essence, its beauty into the paintings, but he also fetishizes and also wants to literally encroach on their space because he's paying them. He wants them to do what he wants. It's 1979. The IRA is very active. There's a bunch of bombings, and that is interspersed, real-life bombings, historical nonfiction, that is interspersed with these chapters building up the tension. Masson is there very angry that the British person has come because he's been studying them apart from them on purpose, because this colony hasn't been sort of like infected with people speaking English. They're speaking their native tongue, which he is studying, and in his own way also colonizing, fetishizing. He is trying to project his own notions about how they function, how they should function, onto a literal document that would enshrine how he perceives them forever. As a dissertation, nobody on the island ostensibly really wants them there, but they need them for their money. And as the structure of the book alternates, Masson's chapters, when we're in his head, is like big, meaty, chunky memories of his past. He's sort of projecting these other notions onto this colony. Then when we go to Lloyd's, it's very like lateral thinking, vertical thinking. He does his little self-portraits of the island with these different things. Every time there's anything of worth, he's trying to capture it in his memory and replicate it onto the page so that it's, you know, his forever, basically. And as things build up, we try to figure out what will become of these two people as the tensions go up. Will they be allowed to leave the island, come into a conflict with the townspeople who are very not sympathetic and probably aligned with the IRA maybe? Will James be able to leave the island because he wants to become a painter, he wants to go to school, he wants to leave this life? Will Lloyd actually be able to paint a masterpiece, or is he going to create, as it is sort of intimated, a very derivative work of something like Manet or something? Will Masson be able to respect the culture and also be able to enshrine sort of how it is now with their language before it disintegrates? And what would that attention garner the island? Same with Lloyd's paintings. If either are successful, the fate of the island will be determined by these people who are not of the island. There's other stuff at play as well that is quite subtle. So as you can see, it's very quiet, yet the stakes have never really been higher as well. There's that famous quote from La Frontera, which is like, who is to say that wiping people's language is less violent than war? Quintessentially this book, quintessentially. Then the prose work is phenomenal. The concept is phenomenal. I haven't seen it anywhere. It's very novel to me. Some people have said it's a little bit derivative, but I haven't seen it captured like this before, ever. And it was just a joy to read. And like I said, when you consume it with the audiobook, you get the narrator who's fluent in the dialect, pronouncing things correctly. And there's some, I think, sound and noises being injected, I think, like seagulls and cliffs and the sound of the ocean and stuff like that. So it's just a very immersive experience. Very glad that I own it. Will probably buy the audiobook as well and consume it again. It's one of the strongest on the long list that I've ever consumed, and I want to definitely recommend it to you if you've read it or if you want to read it. Any thoughts, opinions, feelings about what I've mentioned, please let me know, and I will meet you in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you next video. Bye.